Good afternoon, respected HOD ma'am, faculty members, and all the students present out here. Just after the roll call which we have gone through, I just want to have a personal interaction in the roll call with the fact that how many of you were present on my previous session with regards to intellectual property rights? Just a raise your hands. Okay, thank you. So here we see that a large number of audience are the ones who have already attended one session dealing with intellectual property rights, and a certain number of people who are new. So to balance the situation, I would just like to give a quick revision of what we have done on our last interaction, and then go ahead with the idea and at a broad and to a next extent, dealing specifically with innovation and entrepreneurship. As this is an institute which deals with the commercial management of businesses across the country, and your syllabus is largely dealing with commercial aspects of business, innovation, ideas and marketing. So I would also like to keep my deliberations limited to those particular aspects of need that serves your purpose. Clear? That is fine and equal for both the ends. Now, I would just like to give a quick revision with the fact that whenever we listen to a particular word, that word must trigger some understanding in our mind. That particular word need to trigger an understanding in our mind. And if I say the word automobile, or if I say the word telecom, or if I say the word spaceships, this does not indicate one particular thing. But as soon as I say automobile, it comes to your mind with regards to Maruti, with regards to Tata, with regards to Kia, Korean company, with regards to any other BMW or Audi or any kind of companies, right? That bundle is known as automobiles. Similar to that, whenever we say intellectual property rights or intellectual property, this understanding should be translated into your mind with the idea that it is not one specific thing but a bundle of things. Now what are the elements of that bundle? Clear? What are the elements of that bundle? Now, if any one of you tomorrow, let us just assume that television was never created, and one of us from this particular room has invented the television. Now, what are his intellectual rights that needs to be protected? Because he or she is the first person who has invented this television, right? The way that particular thing sparks the light and then you can visualize it on a screen, that particular patent and idea needs to be protected, right? So one thing which comes into this aspect is patent. Patent means one idea which can be used for industrial purpose and at large to change the world, and that requires protection because it is your intellectual property. First thing. Second, when that same television is being marketed by LG, Samsung and other companies, they have that particular tag on that particular television. Let us say this particular screen or the laptops, we have a tag, right? HP, Samsung, LG, Lenovo, these are known as your trademarks, so that you know, even if you put a half-eaten Apple logo on your Samsung phone, it doesn't mean it's an Apple phone, right? So that trademarks need to be protected. That is another element of the bundle. I'm just sharing the bundle with you. Next, whenever you have seen the television, there is a patent inside it, then there is a logo inside it which serves as a trademark. Continuing to that, now you have watched a very nice episode and you watched a very nice movie, and that movie in the television has a copyright, because that is the art and literary expertise or creation of a particular individual, be it the screenwriter or the director, and that also needs to be protected. That is copyright. Clear? Three aspects. There are some other aspects with regards to the design of the television. Earlier, the television set used to come very bulky and very heavy to carry. Today, we have very slim and trim, which can be fixed to the walls, right? These are designs patent and designs rights. So, as of property and normal property, the microphone which is placed in front of you is a property, right? There is an owner to the property. What is the difference between intellectual property and normal property? Anybody, any idea? I used the example of a microphone for some purpose. So just give a prompt, whatever comes to your mind. जो भी आपके mind में आए, आप idea लगाइए कि property और intellectual property में क्या difference होता है? Anything?
Intellectual property is intangible in nature.
Indeed. Thank you so much. That's the answer. That's the specific answer. Intellectual property is intangible in nature and property is tangible in nature. The microphone which is placed in front of you can be touched, can be felt, that is tangible. The voice which you will circulate over the microphone, and if you are reciting a poem, that is your intellectual property. Getting it? That is the clear specific differentiation. Now, after this, another important aspect of tangible property is that every time remember one thing. People definitely do get confused. In tangible property, the law which deals with tangible property is Transfer of Property Act. Okay, that is the law which deals with tangible property, and the laws which deals with intangible property are the Copyrights Act, the Patents Act, the Trademarks Act, so and so. Now the question here comes when both laws interlink or there is a gray area. Let's say there is a brand marketing where Samsung has placed its logo and it is written I love Samsung. Okay, same thing, let's say Lenovo has done I love Lenovo. Now what laws come into play? Whether some kind of intellectual property is violated or not, and if Lenovo removes that signboard of Samsung, then what kind of tangible laws are violated? So there is a thin line which we will discuss in the course of our deliberation to understand the difference between tangible and intangible property, keeping in mind the idea of innovation and entrepreneurship. Clear? Are we on a same platform to start with? So from here, again I will try to clear some basic concepts, just like the concepts of IPR and tangible property. This is the first slide. Now, whenever you are, before going into the concept of innovation and entrepreneurship, we have to go through a journey, because those words seem very simple, but when we discuss, it will become difficult. First question is, what is creativity? We all have asked our younger siblings to be creative. We all have said that we like people who are creative, but what is creativity? Any prompts? What is creativity? This is directly connected to the subject matter of your discussion today. क्या होता है creativity? क्या होता है?
Sir, new ideology.
Ideologies तो नहीं होगा, because ideology is a philosophical term. New idea it can be. New idea, but okay, just missing it out. Now, before we discuss creativity, I just want to ask you, what is the difference between discovery and invention? What was the world's first discovery? These are very basics. ये सब आपको जब आप profitable conversations करोगे with your other company managers and people, तब आपको पता चलेगा what is technology and commercial terminology में क्या कहा जाता है. Just one moment, something pops up in my mind. I have to remind it once and more. How many of your MBA students here? MBA, the rest are BBA. Okay, one question just I also got it few days back, which struck in my mind. In our country, India, with MBA is a post-graduation degree or an undergraduation degree? Post-graduation degree. And what is the undergraduation degree? BBA. So, in our country, India, technically, which degree should have come first, MBA or BBA? Yes, BBA, right? That is the system of education. If you don't have a BBA, you can't have an MBA, right? But the irony is, in India, since independence, MBA came first, BBA came later. Go and do some research and you will come to know. MBA degree was started first, then BBA followed. So we are already running very advanced, and therefore it is a great demand for you also to run very advanced. Why? That is a different story. The LPG, how the LPG happened in 1991, this and that is a different story. But always remember, MBA came first, followed by BBA. So we are following a very different kind of education system. Now, after this, अभी next क्या आता है? This is known as the valley of death, जिसको हम legal terms में भी use करते हैं, commercial terms में भी use करते हैं, और कभी-कभार आपके जो company meetings होंगे, they will say that we have a discussion today, and the theme is the valley of death. They'll just say the valley of death. So you have to understand what is there in the valley of death. Now, this happens basically with startup companies. they have to cross this valley of death. इसमें क्या है? Just go read the first pointer which says gap between invention and real world implementation. Invention एक part हो गया, real world implementation आपके innovation के part में आ गया, ठीक है? High risk, high cost, long time scales. समझ में आ रहा है? What is important to you now? Legal aspect तो होता जाएगा, but this is the adjoining part of your necessities as your degree, as your educational necessities and the necessity of the topic. Now, gap between invention and real-time implementation. Now, who will solve this gap? Who has the responsibility to solve this gap? Upon you people, because you are trained and your mind has been designed and taught and experimented to fill up these gaps. We as lawyers will not be able to fill this gap. आप लोगों ने किया है डिग्री इन बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट, आप लोगों ने किया है डिग्री इन टर्म्स ऑफ कमर्शियल एस्पेक्ट्स, आप लोगों को सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा हाउ टू कम आउट ऑफ दिस वैल्यू ऑफ दैट. That is your responsibility. Okay, next is applicable to all commercial areas. Applicable to all commercial areas. I'll just give an example. Earlier there used to come a Gillette blade, right? Gillette का blade आता था ना earlier.